Hello, and welcome to English Hoot, the podcast where we make learning English fun, easy, and a little bit silly. I'm Lily, and I'm here with my co-host, Sam.
Hey there, everyone. I'm Sam, and we are so excited to have you listening with us today. Whether you're doing the dishes, walking your dog, or just relaxing at home, we've got some great tips to help you speak English more easily. So if you've ever felt nervous about speaking English, today's episode is definitely for you.
Oh yeah, I think we've all been there, right? You know, when you're at a restaurant and the waiter asks, "What would you like to drink?" And you freeze. You know the answer, but your brain starts asking, "Wait, do I say I want or I'd like?" You just freeze and end up pointing at the menu. Oops.
Yeah, it's like our brain has a little panic attack, right? Suddenly, we start worrying about every word, every tense, every little mistake. But don't worry, it happens to all of us.
Exactly. And you're definitely not alone. So today, we're going to talk about how you can stop overthinking and just talk English.
You might be wondering, what does that even mean? Talk English without thinking. Well, we'll explain. Let's get started by thinking about a time when you overthought speaking English.
Let's say you're in class and your teacher asks you, "What did you do yesterday?" Now, you know the answer. You went shopping. Easy, right? But suddenly, your brain starts going crazy. Wait, is it "I go shopping" or "I went shopping"? Should I say yesterday first or should I put it at the end? Sam, I know you've had this happen to you.
Oh, absolutely. And then by the time you figured it all out, it's too late. Someone else has answered, and you're just sitting there like, I knew the answer. Why didn't I speak? I've been there too many times, honestly.
Yep. And the thing is, overthinking is normal. It's something that happens to all learners. But the trick is, you don't have to be perfect to speak confidently. In fact, if you wait for the perfect moment or the perfect words, you might never speak at all.
Exactly. You know, even native English speakers make mistakes. It's true. They forget words. They say and all the time.
And no one cares. Here's an example. Yesterday, I was going to the store, but then I forgot my wallet. Lefts. It's not perfect, but it's natural, and it sounds real.
Exactly. And now imagine if someone said, yesterday, I went to the store. I bought apples. Laughs. Sure, it's correct, but it's a bit robotic, right?
Totally. So the secret is let go of perfection and just start talking. It's all about building your confidence and trusting yourself.
Right, right. And you're probably thinking, but how do I stop overthinking? How do I get my brain to just, let go? Well, here's the thing. You overthink because you care. You want to do it right, and that's actually a good thing. But when you care too much, you stop yourself from speaking.
Yeah, it's like when a child is learning to talk, they don't study grammar books. They don't think, should I use past tense here? No way. They just speak, even if it's not perfect. They say funny things like, "I go to the zoo," but we don't laugh, we just help them.
Exactly, Lily. And what happens? They get better every day because they're not afraid to try. So guess what? You can do the same. You can learn to speak confidently even if you're not perfect.
That's right. And here's the thing. Don't wait until you feel fluent to start speaking. Fluency doesn't come first. You become fluent by speaking. So the more you speak, the better you'll get.
So here's the big takeaway for today. Talk English without thinking doesn't mean you're speaking without meaning. It means don't stop every 2 seconds to check your grammar. Don't worry about every word. Just speak. Just try. Let the words come out.
All right, let's do another example. Imagine you're talking to a friend. They ask you, "What do you like to do on weekends?" Now, instead of thinking, "Is it I like play football or I like to play football?" And should I say in weekends or on weekends? Sam, I know you've been there, overthinking every little thing.
Oh, for sure. And you end up not saying anything because you're stuck in that loop of overthinking. But here's what you can do instead. Just say something like, I like play football, and I go to park with my dog.
Grins. Exactly. Is it perfect? Nope. But is it clear? Yes. And that's what matters. Your friend will understand you, and that's the goal, to be understood, not to be perfect. And guess what? You can fix your grammar later. The most important part is just speaking.
Right. Think of it like this. Speaking English is like playing a sport. You can read all the books in the world about football, but until you step onto the field and play, you won't get any better. The same goes for English. You have to open your mouth and speak.
Absolutely. And Sam, I'm sure you've heard people say things like, "I'll speak English when I'm fluent." But that's actually the wrong idea. You don't become fluent first. You become fluent by speaking.
Exactly. You have to practice. Even if it's not perfect, it's all about the process, not the end result.
And here's another thing. It's okay to make mistakes. In fact, making mistakes is part of the journey. When you're learning a language, every mistake is a step forward. You're trying new things, and that's how you improve. And let's be honest, no one's perfect.
Exactly. No one expects you to be perfect. And here's something interesting. Native English speakers make mistakes too. They forget words, they pause, they say and all the time. It's all part of speaking naturally. So don't stress about it.
Totally. And now let's talk about something that trips up a lot of learners: overthinking. You know, when your brain goes into overdrive and you start worrying about the grammar, the tenses, or even what people will think of your accent, it can be exhausting.
Oh, I know. It's like when you're in a conversation and your brain is thinking, is this the right word? Is this the right tense? Should I pause here or keep talking? You end up saying nothing at all, and the conversation just passes you by.
And that's exactly what we want to avoid. Overthinking is the number one thing that keeps you from speaking naturally. So the trick is to stop overthinking and just speak. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just let the words flow.
Right. So let's break it down and talk about the first trap that many learners fall into: translating in your head.
Ah, this one. Translating word by word from your own language to English. It feels safe, but it's super slow and it's often wrong because languages don't match perfectly. Let me give you an example.
Yes, please.
Okay, so imagine you're Maria from Brazil. You're in London and you need to buy a bus ticket. The seller asks, single or return? Now, in Portuguese, Maria would say, "Eu gostaria de uma passagem de ida e volta." But she tries to translate it word for word into English. "I would like a pass of go and come back."
Oh, no. That's a mess. Maria must have been sweating at that moment.
Exactly. The line behind her grows longer, she's feeling embarrassed, and in the end, she just says, "2 tickets, please," even though she only needs one. But don't worry, Maria, we've all been there.
Grinning. We've all been Maria at some point. It's totally normal. But the key is stop translating. Think directly in English.
Right. So how do we stop translating? Well, here's a trick. Look around you right now and start naming things in English. Red cup, green plant, blue sky. Start with simple things.
You can also try telling little stories in your head. For example, the boy runs. He is happy. He eats ice cream. Simple, short stories will help you think in English, not in your native language.
Exactly. And set little rules for yourself. For just 5 minutes, don't allow yourself to translate. If you forget a word, just pick a simpler one and keep going. Little by little, you'll train your brain to think in English.
It's all about building those new paths in your brain. It might be hard at first, but trust me, it gets easier.
All right, moving on to the second trap that can hold us back from speaking naturally: grammar obsession.
Yes, we all want to sound perfect, right? So we pause, we double-check the grammar in our heads, and suddenly we're frozen mid-sentence. We're too worried about getting it just right.
Exactly. And I've seen this happen with so many learners. Let me tell you a story. Picture Ahmed, an engineer from Egypt, is meeting new colleagues at a cafe. They ask, "How was your weekend?" And immediately, Ahmed's brain goes into overdrive. Is it past simple, past perfect? Should I say I went or I have gone?
Oh no, poor Ahmed. He's probably thinking so hard about grammar that he can't even speak.
Grinning. Yep. And then he whispers, I have gone to the park. His voice is so small, and his coworkers just smile politely, but the conversation moves on. Ahmed missed his chance to join in.
Poor guy. And here's the thing. You don't need to be perfect in grammar to have a good conversation. What's more important is that your friends or coworkers understand you. You're not in a test. You're having a conversation.
Exactly. So instead of focusing on the perfect tense, ask yourself, did my friend understand me? Because let's face it, that's what really matters.
Yes, and you can use starter frames to make it easier. For example, yesterday next week I will, or I have never. These little frames give your brain some structure so you can just focus on the rest of the sentence.
Yes, and when you make small mistakes, celebrate them. Every mistake is a sign that you're trying something new. You just stretched your English muscles. Give yourself a pat on the back.
Exactly. I like to think of mistakes as little medals, proof that you're out there speaking, learning, and growing. So don't be afraid of grammar mistakes. Just keep talking.
And that brings us to the third trap, fear of judgment. Oh, this one's tough. The worry that people will laugh at your accent or correct you in the middle of a conversation.
Yeah, I think we've all been there. You're speaking and suddenly you think, what if they don't understand me? What if I say something funny? What if they make fun of my accent?
Nods. I've definitely had those moments. Let me tell you a story. Picture Liang, a university student from China. He's in New York, standing in front of a pizza counter. The worker smiles at him. Liang plans to say, "1 slice of pepperoni and 1 bottle of water, please." But then a thought pops into his head. What if my R sound is wrong? What if they laugh at me?
Oh no, poor Liang. What did he do?
Well, Liang ends up just pointing at a random slice and nodding quickly. He gets the pizza, but outside, he realizes he got spinach pizza, which he hates. He then realizes the worker never even cared about his accent. It was his own fear stopping him from speaking.
Shakes his head. That's such a classic case of fear of judgment. We worry so much about what others think, but most of the time, people are just happy to understand us. And honestly, most people will admire your courage to speak in another language.
Exactly. Think about it. When someone is speaking your language and they make a mistake, you don't laugh at them. You appreciate that they're trying. It's the same thing when we speak English.
Yes, and here's a helpful tip. Practice talking to yourself in front of a mirror. Smile at yourself and say, "Nice job. Keep going." It sounds a bit silly at first, but it works.
It really does. And find people who are kind and patient, like classmates or language buddies who understand that you're learning. They'll be your cheerleaders, not your critics.
Definitely. And remember, most listeners are focused on your message, not your accent. And guess what? Many of them might even think, wow, I wish I could speak another language like that.
That's the truth. So next time you feel nervous about speaking, just remember your message is what matters most. Don't worry about perfection. Just focus on communicating and enjoying the conversation.
Exactly. Now, let's take everything we've learned and put it into action. We've talked about overthinking, translating, grammar obsession, and fear of judgment. These are all traps that stop us from speaking freely. But don't worry, we have some awesome strategies to help you break free from these traps.
And that's what we'll talk about in the next episode. But for now, here's your challenge. The next time you're about to speak, just do it. Don't think too much. Let the words come out. And don't worry if it's perfect, just speak. Trust yourself and enjoy the conversation.
And remember, the more you speak, the better you'll get. You've got this.
All right, that's all for today's episode of English Hoot. We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment, and give us a thumbs up.
Yeah, we'd love to hear about your own experiences with overthinking and speaking English. And of course, don't forget to share this episode with your friends.
Until next time, keep speaking, keep learning, and keep having fun. Bye.
Bye.